Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Okay, so we're back here on a Thursday night with a little bit of case swapping goodness. So this is a local customer from out here in the sticks, and he's got a PC from me previously. This is an ultra budget system that I built for him a few years ago, and we're going to be moving it into a new case because he's just sick of having a PC without any lighting. So doesn't have a great deal of money, so we had to sort of consider all that, because like I said to him, like, doing a case swap is pretty labor intensive. It's almost like doing a whole new PC build, because I've got to like disassemble a PC and then I have to reassemble the PC. It's like if I was just building a new PC, I just have to unwrap the parts, put them together, and then do it. So, but there's twice as much screwing involved here, for lack of a better word. So yeah, we're here with this case. This is the Antec. What is it? Just so I get this right, it is the CX200M, which is one of the newer Antec cases. Antec's released a whole heap of sort of like good-looking, more budget-conscious cases, and we've featured one of them here before a few weeks ago. But this one here is a small, like, micro ATX case. But what you'll probably notice is it's got glass on the front and the side, like a Lian Li Dynamic 11 or similar.
It comes in white as well.
You can get it in white. Yep. And so, if I remember right, this was about 80 or 90 Aussie. But I got it at Scorptech. So Scorptech have them in stock. I don't think I've seen them anywhere. PC Case Gear or someone has them. PLE probably has them, but I mean, Case Gear and PLE, they're not Brisbane, or I don't think they're even in Sydney. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they're certainly not one of the locals around here. But it comes with 5 pre-installed fans. So the thing you got to understand about these fans is it looks like, from what I've looked at, I haven't turned it on, I haven't really played around with anything yet, so it's going to be the first time I look at it as well. But one thing I noticed was the reset switch is plugged into a cable coming off. So I believe the fans run at a set speed. However, you can use this button on the side there to control the lighting mode in them. So if that's a bit of a problem for you, you might want to consider swapping out the fans to just regular addressable RGB fans. So you could do that. Probably the next thing to talk about that's a bit of a limitation. Like, they're good, you can change the colors and stuff on them, but they're not, you can't tune the fan speed. The other thing is liquid cooling support. You cannot, even though it looks like up top here, you might think, okay, can I just get a 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler and mount the radiator up there? And the answer is no. You won't have enough clearance at the top there with the motherboard and the RAM. Oh, but it's fine. I don't understand. I'm so fucking sick of this. Anyway, fucking go. But yeah, that's one thing to consider, right? With the liquid cooling, You could put a 120mm one there on the back, but yeah, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle with mounting anything larger than the radiator to the bottom, because that will mean that the pump will probably be at the high point of the loop, or the high point of the loop restrict the flow. So just be aware of that. They don't design them around being mounted to the bottom. But yes, let's open her up and let's have a bit of a deeper look at this case. So and it might have a few shortcomings, but fundamentally I think this might be a very, very popular case for a lot of people. Now the front just pops off. Okay, so hopefully that's a little bit better. I just dropped the FPS down a little bit and the bitrate down for some reason. I need a better solution for internet where I am. I really do, because like I test it all on my end and it's all good, but like I get such poor upload speed here. NBN's atrocious because it's fixed wireless. But yeah, my 5G reception needs to be better. I'm sure there's something I can do about it.
You might have to start looking at something like that.
No, I'm not fucking buying into that.
Other people in the area have it. I don't know. I'm sure there's something similar to that you can do.
Okay. So as you can see there, it comes with the two of them are reverse.
Anything, or is that
No,
SSD?
that's just for cables there. You have room to, what have you got down here? You've got room for your drives. 3.5-inch drives in there, 2.5s at the top there. But yeah, pretty basic. It's a Molex daisy chain there for the fans. So basically, power in that side. This bit here is just a little plug that says power on it, just so you know. Yeah, just so you know. I guess some people will get this and they won't know what this is. This was the power connector back in the day, like for everything. that was what we used, you know, all of the disk drive. It's still used a lot. As you can see, we're still using it in 2024. But yes, you can fit, looks like fairly regular sized power supplies there. You can move the hard drive tray up a little bit to accommodate. So I'd have to look at the specs to tell you exactly how big a power supply, like how deep it can be. But you can certainly fit a full size ATX power supply under there without even adjusting this thing. So if you adjust it, probably fit a longer one, like some of those Corsair ones that are a bit lengthy. But yes, let's sort of get started on this. So before I go anywhere, I'm gonna pop out these, and good thing I did, because the weld feels fairly. All right. And so yeah, over here, as you can see, one of the fans has this cable coming out of it. So it's this little 2-pin connection, and where are we? This one here will be cable, and we hook that up to this, and then that reset button becomes our LED button. So yeah, there you go. It's basically like a little mini knockoff Lian Li with, you know, the mesh down there. I reckon that looks pretty sharp. You know, you got the I/O there on the side, so that's kind of, you know, a bit more ergonomic. You got the PC on your desk, plugging at the top there. That's annoying. It's nice to have it there. And yeah, the
It's kind of similar to the Cooler Master one. Way on the side.
yeah, oh,
Is
there's
that where I'm getting confused? I don't know.
yeah, there's the Deep Cool ones that have a display on the side, the
Did I
new
say
ones.
Cooler Master?
You said Cool Master. I think that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so hopefully the stream's a bit more stable there now. Okay, so what have we got? What have we got in here? We have... ...16 gigabytes of RAM. We got an Asus B550MK motherboard. Is this a 1650 or a 1660? It's about that era. So that's the interior. So this is going to look nicer because the way that this is, yeah. So I guess the crappiest thing about this is just the power supply cables. So we'll see what we can do to completely sort of disguise those ketchup and mustard cables. So the ketchup and mustard cables are designed to make it easy to work on, you know, from a servicing perspective. You know, it makes it easy. You don't have to use the multimeter as much, I should say. You don't have to use it enough. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna have to. I have to take the hard drive out before I undo the power supply. No, it's an RX 570. And we have Wi-Fi N. That's a bit antiquated at this stage, but it would have been a cost-saving measure at first with this customer's PC. So normally people who come to me spend a fair bit of money on a PC. Just because, like, if you're gonna get a good PC built, you may as well be able to like see it getting built and be able to ask any questions that you have. Oh man, it's like.
On.
Yeah. I'm trying to be delicate with this because I couldn't get a grip on it behind the power supply. Okay. Hard drive, and it looks like we got an SSD. Jesus. Okay. All right. So basically, we don't really need anything in there other than, before I put it down, the rear I/O shield. Just a second.
Fluffy. Are you a cat?
We'll chuck on a new cooler and we'll use new SATA cables as well, so that makes sense. Because yeah, it's an AMD AM4 stock cooler there, so nothing super exciting, and it's being replaced with the same cooler. So I've got so many of these that I don't even have to charge for these coolers. I have a large carton full of Intel and AMD stock coolers. I was selling them when I had 100 units of each, but I'm about halfway to that point. But the customer that I was selling them to in bulk doesn't need the same amount as what they used to. So I now have like heaps of them, so don't feel bad about it. So make sure when you take your cooler off your AM4 CPU that you do so with a bit of knowledge about how it actually kind of works, because these coolers, the thermal paste that's on them makes really, really good. It's almost like thermal cement, right? Sorry. I think I need a drink. Yeah, I think I need a drink. Can you get me a bottle of water?
Yeah.
So you either heat it up by turning it on and waiting for the CPU and the thermal paste to sort of melt a little bit, or when you take it off, twist it just lightly and you should feel it kind of crack. Not crack in a bad way, I'm just talking about the thermal paste itself.
I didn't think you were going to start talking with the bottle. Oh, you're not going to spill it.
Let me put it down here, completely out of the way. Okay, so let's see what we're running here. We have a Ryzen 5500. It's like I'm doing a scratchy or something like that. I don't have any isopropyl alcohol.
You need to go to Bunnings.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want some paper towel?
No, it should be right. It's all really dry.
Oh, I can see it like flaking off.
Yeah. That's fine. Like I said, this is part of why we'll just chuck a new cooler on. It's probably been there for a couple of years. And while I'm sure it was still working fine, you know, that fan's probably been spinning for a bit. Yeah, so always just do this like bit by bit. Don't try and fasten one down all the way. Once you have two opposite corners threaded, then it's easier to get number 3 and 4 in place. Okay, as you can see there, we've sort of dealt with that cable there. We've sort of tucked it up inside the plastic there that's around the cooler, and that is how you hide your AM4 cable. Alright, so that motherboard there is all ready to go, so I don't need to touch the RAM, I don't need to touch anything else. We've got our IO shield. This, just go on the old case there. So now we can turn our attention to this bad boy. So, we're going to need some different, some extra offsets. We have a full-size micro ATX board. This one only has the offsets for the mini. So if you are installing a full-size micro ATX board, which is probably most people, you do need to put these extra offsets in place. And they should be, you know, fairly tight. Okay, because you're screwing another screw into them. So yeah, you don't want to get the screw stuck in the offset. That's a pain in the ass. Okay. Oh, don't drop that. Just gonna get me my pliers. I'm gonna redo this. They're on the cat stand. When you thought you knew where they are, I trusted that you knew where they were. Alright, so one good thing to always do when you have your power supply is to sort of go through it and make sure that you've got, you know what you're working with. What cables you don't need, so you do need your 24 pin ATX power for the motherboard, and you definitely need this one here, your 8 pins of CPU power, which is actually 2 4 pins together, but we'll call it an 8 pin. And we've got a graphics card that needs a PCIe cable, so we do need a PCIe cable. I think this power supply has 2, so we only need 1. We've actually got 2 8 pins on this cable, and then we're going to need our Molex, and we're going to need 1 SATA, which leaves these cables here as extras. So we can go ahead with those extras there, we can sort of just bundle them up. And then we just sort of, we've got a bunch that we can just tuck away once we install the power supply. Then we've got the cables that we do need to hook up everything else. Okay, so yeah, anyone can make a PC look good these days if you buy all the latest and greatest parts and stuff like that. The challenge is when you're working with cheaper stuff and you want to make cheaper stuff look really, really good. That's where the art is. Any manufacturer can release very, very expensive products that look amazing. That's not the hard part. The hard part is the flip side of that. How do you make really, really cheap things look really, really, really nice? And that's where this case excels, Because PCs have changed a little bit, like a lot, over the last decade or so, right? Okay, so we got our storage devices here. So, yeah. Hey, is it Theonore?
Yeah.
Hey Theonore, how you going, man? Good to have you with us as always. All right, so I'm gonna actually I'm going to remove our hard drive tray. So to remove it, you got 2 hex bolts on the bottom there. And if I can turn it around without freaking dropping everything. Once you unscrew the 2 hex bolts, it's on these rubber things, so you can pull the whole tray out. And that's how you use it. So we have a 2.5 inch and a 3.5 inch drive to install. So the best way of doing that will be which way does it go? I think it'll be this way. Yes, that looks right. So the drive there can go in like that. But what we're going to do first is we're going to bolt our SSD to the top. So this might look like it's only for one drive. However, if you mount something to the very top, you could even mount another 3.5 inch drive if you wanted to. Yeah.
Being also there's lots of cable ties is the key to a good looking setup.
We may need an extra 1 or 2 here. No, we won't. We'll be right. Oh. Alrighty, so there's our 2.5 inch drive mounted, and then we have our 3.5 inch. So with the 3.5 inch drive, for best practice, always put all screws in, because a 3.5 inch drive like this is a hard drive. And that's different to an SSD because the hard drive actually has moving parts. It's an actual mechanical device. And as you know, you probably know because you've probably used other mechanical things in your time, whether it's a car or a lawnmower or whatever, they do start to break down over time. And hard drives are exactly the same. Also, you probably know that vibration destroys machines, and when it comes to something with as you know, really fine and precise working parts like what's inside a hard disk drive, aka a hard drive, yeah, it doesn't take much to sort of damage that. So when you put a whole heap of, when you mount all the screws in correctly, you're sort of holding it as tightly as possible, and you're limiting those vibrations, because you know it might not be vibrating much and it might not really cause a problem, but over the life of the drive it will cause it to sort of degrade faster. Okay. Alright, so we've got our two drive tray there. Oop. There we go. And so I've moved it over to the further away position. I don't know anything about any of that. You know, when people ask you about something and the only response is, yeah, I don't know anything about that. Come on, you all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we've got the power there for our hard drive and SSD. Oop. And then that cable there can we just be tucked back with the out of use cables. There we go, so that's like that. Now the next little one for out the back here to deal with is this Molex cable. Alright, and so yeah, basically all these cables can just get tied up together. You don't want to see any cable ties around the front. So yeah, this group of cables can just sort of sit out back here. They don't have to be sort of tied down anymore. It makes absolutely no difference once we've got the cover on. We just don't want to see any cables through these holes, you know. We're feeding cables out, we don't want to see any of the stuff at the back. So that's the secret there. Okay. Yeah, once again, any of the excess power cables and stuff, you can just sort of tuck them down with that group of cables that weren't in use at the start. I've got sort of like realistically a manageable amount of cables. It's a lot less of a clusterfuck than what it was before. Okay, so I'll chuck on the I/O shield and we'll get this motherboard mounted. Okay. Oh. Well, before I go much further, one of the offsets is actually in the wrong position for this motherboard. So remember how I said it the offsets were installed for the smaller kind of micro ATX board? it also has one other random bolt that's in the wrong position. So that's definitely something that you know, if you're a first time builder and you want to build a PC in this case, that's something to consider. Because you don't want one of those bolts in the back of your motherboard. And yeah, you'll struggle to get your money back. If they find evidence, like if you try warranty a board and they find like a scratch on the back of the circuit board or something like that from the offset that's in the wrong position, they'll have a field day. They'll be like, yeah, no, we're not replacing that. Sorry. Before I go much further, CPU cable plugged in. Very good. All right. So I got that CPU cable plugged in up the top there. It's relatively concealed. Happy days. Now for everything else. Now we may or may not have to remove these fans. I'm hoping that we don't. Ooh, that might be a bit of a problem. Oh. So where the USB 3 port is on this board, it's going to be super hard the cable. However, I've got this little thing here. It's a little adapter piece. They're like 10 bucks or something like that. So we'll just chuck that on. Okay, so we have got that in place. Hopefully, hopefully it doesn't cause too much dramas with our graph problem with that cable. But have we created another one? That's obviously something to be aware of. Alright, it's got some new SATA cables here. Realistically, we're probably going to have to use these two. Okay, they can just sort of tuck down there like that. There we go, that's pretty good. Now we've got our power cables. Now people always complain about these things. I always thought it was relatively simple. However, it's fairly difficult with these fans in the way. Okay. So yeah, these fans at the bottom pre-installed definitely make sort of plugging all that stuff in down the bottom a little bit harder. And finally we've got our ATX power. So this is probably the one thing that's like the hardest thing to hide. There's not really much I can do about it. All right. So I would say the aesthetics of this case is a A rated. I would say the experience of building in one, how difficult it is, problems to overcome, I'd probably give it a C. In terms of performance, I mean, I haven't turned it on, but based on what I've seen, I say the performance will be pretty good. But the biggest thing that I've noticed that's going to be a problem is our Wi-Fi. So I don't have room to plug this in to the bottom slot on this motherboard. So unfortunately, you might be up for a new Wi-Fi adapter. Unfortunately, if not, you'll have to lose one of those fans at the bottom. Like I can plug in a little 90-degree adapter there for the USB 3 to sort of work around that, but there's nothing I can do about getting this card in the bottom slot there in this case without removing that fan. So
You're gonna have to message the customer about that.
yeah, but for tonight, for what we're doing, we'll just keep moving. We'll assume that they'll just buy a USB one. You could probably get a better one, a faster one. Yeah, over USB, because this one here, this is Wi-Fi 7 now, so this is definitely slower. Still does the job, don't get me wrong, but yeah, definitely on the slower side. Got a bit of dust and hair on that.
Tim?
Yeah.
Brock says, hey Tim.
Hey Brock, how you going? Good to have you with us. I'm pretty sure the customer's name is Brock. Is this your PC, Brock? Excellent. Yeah, my advice would be either just connect by cable a modern Wi-Fi 6 USB adapter, and that will be a upgrade on that in terms of performance.
Yeah, this is Brock.
This is Brock's
Yeah,
PC?
yeah.
Yeah, thought so.
Can you say it all again? Reiterate why the Wi-Fi?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think I said all this. I said all this just before you started. So there's no way to plug this Wi-Fi card in the bottom of the motherboard. Lose that fan or lose this. So you can probably sell this. You know, someone will pay something for it, and you can always use a USB. A modern model, it'll probably be faster and more reliable than that. So, but yeah, I mean, if you need it and you're happy to drop the fan But for tonight, we'll just keep going as if the Wi-Fi adapter doesn't matter. Okay. Plenty of room at the back there, you know. You don't have to sort of freaking shove everything in there. You don't have to press down on it to get the back panel closed or anything like that. Cables at the bottom there. So all in all, a pretty decent case. I would just mark it down for the fact that these two fans in the bottom kind of get in the way of plugging things in. I couldn't plug in the USB. So yeah, mark it down a little bit on that. I mark it down because the fans are, while you'll be able to change the color on them, the speed, they just run at a set speed. So fortunately, you've got plenty of fans. So you shouldn't have any airflow issues, certainly not with the hardware that you're running, so no issues there. But I've said to people, if they really like this case and they're going to put parts in it and like want to make it as high end as possible, that's going to be something that you'll probably swap out. You can't mount a liquid cooler radiator here. It's not enough clearance. It would pump block or the RAM. Yeah, it's too tight for any of that.
You can put a small...
You can put a 120 on the back there. That will be fine. Yeah. Yeah, you can put a 120 on the back there. That'll be okay. 240 up top, and you definitely can't put a radiator at the bottom there. So, all right. Well, look, let's turn it on. Let's make sure everything's all good and up to date. But yeah, Brock, you got a new cooler, you got new SATA cables, yeah, replacing and sort of cleaning and updating things for you as we go. I also need my keyboard that needs a clean. Fortunately, you can't catch diseases through USB ports. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh. Oh. There's not even different modes.
Really?
It's just on off. So yeah, you definitely want to be updating the fans if you wanted to use this to, you know.
That's alright.
That's alright. Swap the fans out. Chuck them on Marketplace. Someone will buy them. It's just... that just turns them on and off. Okay. Just a second. We'll make sure everything's all up to date and good. This customer's computer. Sorry about that. I had to get some stuff out of the ute because, yeah.
And boxes looks awesome. I don't mind. The fans don't change colour.
Yeah, it just makes it look a lot more modern for you. Just a second, I'll just make sure everything's all up to date for you. Haha. Is that a Skyline? No, it's not.
It's very cool.
It kind of reminds me of that. Let's chuck in a LAN cable.
Everything's like, open! Do you need a BIOS? Because I have one. Already downloaded one.
You've already got one. Okay, cool. Yes. Here are the keys. I mean, everything should be set up fine. We shouldn't have any problems. Windows 11. You probably need Windows 11 at this stage. Unless you have a specific need unless you got a specific need while you need to stay on Windows 10, it'll be better if we just move over to Windows 11. Okay, so not much space on the storage drive there. If possible, remove some stuff from that drive and copy it over to data. If the drive shows up as red there in Windows, it's starting to lose performance because it's too full. It's not like it's losing performance because it's dying. It's just too full because sometimes the drive needs like the empty space as well to function, if that kind of makes sense. Yeah, really real nerdy stuff, but basically you try to keep an SSD or a hard drive like up to about 90%. You don't fill it up any more than that. Once you're getting to like 80-90%, it's like, right, I need like another drive or something like that. We'll just make sure everything's all good.
What the fuck?
Yep, everything's all good.
This is weird. Can you come here for a sec?
Sure.
Downloaded the wrong fucking thing. I wonder why it looked weird. Retard.
Have you set this up on purpose for any particular reason? Because, yeah, realistically...
You can do Windows 11 if you want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got this set up either through an app or something like that to block Windows updates and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's an app that you've done or like, yeah. shouldn't opt out. I mean, yeah, I get why some people don't have PTSD over Windows updates and stuff, but in general, you shouldn't opt out of things like that. That's why it hasn't already prompted you to move over to Windows 11 because something that you've installed.
It says he didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, okay, well, I can go in, I don't know. I should just be able to disable that fairly easily. But if it's app controlled, there might be something. What's installed on here? Well, looks pretty straightforward to me. Okay. Has Christine got a BIOS? What's up?
It just stopped streaming for a second then.
Oh.
It went down to 0. What is
Serious?
It's for real.
It is for real. For fucking real. Something obstructing something?
Loose on the case or something.
No, I think one of the fans had bad bearing in it or something.
missing the BIOS opportunity.
Oh no. Are you fucking serious? I mean, it's not hurting it. It's not hurting anything.
Maybe that one. Oh. Hang on. The current BIOS on it says 23.
Is this a different revision though?
No, it shouldn't be.
Just go back to the main page and see if there's a revision 1.1. It doesn't say it. It doesn't say it in here. Did you get Gigabyte or Asus?
Gigabyte.
Yeah, you.
It's the right board. There's only two there, Tim.
Okay, but you saw it. Yeah, it's definitely not liking that. Is there instructions to... Hang on.
That's one I didn't know.
Ref 1.1. That's what it's got to be. Yeah, there we go. We're on FA, FD. Yeah, it's not. It's. There's no sticker on the motherboard or anything. Okay, so yeah, one of the challenges there, you got motherboards and there's different revisions. And so even though that was the correct motherboard model, it was revision 1.0 and we need revision 1.1. Yeah.
Matt says evening all. I'll wait till the party again.
Hey man, how you going? Good to have you with us. Yeah, so we just built a... We didn't really build. We did a case swap on customer's PC, putting it in this Antec CX200M case, which is one of the new ones. New budget cases from Antec. And so yeah, I quite like it. I quite like the looks of it and stuff. There's a few things that I kind of mark it down for a little bit, but realistically it's not too bad. Okay, so let's give this another go. Okay. There we go. So we had B550MK. Now I've got B550MK11, or revision 1.1 version FD. And that's what we call a BIOS. So no. No. Okay.
Brendan says evening.
Hey Brendan, how you going? Good to have you with us.
Key Turner.
So it certainly looks a lot cleaner in there. I can't see any organizational freaking access. So what the hell is... What the hell is the frickin', what's controlling it?
What the fuck?
And we got a RAM error. That could just be from our BIOS update and Windows having a bit of a spack. So it's not necessarily a problem there. That can happen after you update BIOS. Okay. Now we've got a different stop code. Attempted to write random to memory. That's strange. Because we haven't touched... That's something we haven't even touched.
Read-only memory. Attempted to write read-only memory. The fuck?
I mean, we didn't really do much before, but we weren't having these issues before the BIOS update. Oh, we got the same error again. Interesting. How recent was that BIOS update, babe? What was the date on it?
March 27th this year.
It's a little over a month old.
There's one from June 12th last year. It's the one in between the first one.
Yeah, chuck on that other version, just in case we. And we get a blue screen again. Another memory error. Okay. So let's roll that back. So yeah, basically if you update BIOS and immediately afterwards start experiencing errors like that, the best solution is to roll it back to either the previous version or the one that you actually had on before. But typically if you just go to the website and you just go to the previous version before the one that you loaded, normally that will be fine. But yes, I also gotta work on why we're not getting that Windows 11 update, because at this stage, realistically, everyone should be starting to migrate over to Windows 11, even except in the most extreme cases. There's no point being nostalgic or anything like that. You gotta move with the times. I was a beta tester for Windows 10 back in the day. So I've got, I've got nostalgia there as well, but, you gotta move on. Yeah, because I mean, every single code that came up there, we had 3 different blue screen codes, and they're all related to memory. And so, if you didn't understand what was going on, you could potentially be looking up those codes on Windows website and getting a host of different potential problems and fixes, and you could spend hours going through all this shit. When, realistically all that happened was there was a BIOS update, changed a heap of stuff in the background there, it started causing the problem, rolled that BIOS back, and we're all good. Okay, so now it's basically just doing everything, everything all over again. It's like we've turned it on for the very first time. What?
Remind me of that song. So turn on the Nova song.
Oh,
Darren's here.
hey Darren, how you going? Hopefully the stream's a bit better now.
Max says W11 usage usage going up at the moment. It's Windows.
Oh yeah, but that'll change because
Well, it's down.
yeah, whether you like it or not, Windows 10's days are numbered.
Max says in Australia, Windows 10 is about 68%, while Windows is about 30.
Yep.
Windows 11 wrong.
Yep. But yeah, like I said, but at this stage, most people should be moving on. All right, so now we've got a different BIOS on there. We shouldn't be having the same issues. Yeah, some settings are managed by your organization. You know, I've gone in and had a look, but you know, I can't see any organization. Like if we go into like accounts, this is where you'd normally find all this sort of stuff. You know, it's usually a setting in here where you've got an organization that's doing it. That tells me that, you know, potentially it's some sort of app. Check out Metal Premium. All right, well, I mean, realistically, what I'd recommend is just putting in a whole new frickin' SSD and just doing a fresh install of Windows, and then just going through and just reinstalling everything. I mean, you could probably do with a 1 TB SSD in there. I'm sure that would probably make your life a bit easier. Have more games on SSD.
What's under administrative tools?
It's all this sort of stuff. There's nothing. There's nothing in here, as far as I know. There's nothing in here to do with what we're doing. What worries me when I see this, especially if the end user doesn't know what it is, it makes me think that there's some sort of malicious software on here
That's what I was
that's
starting to
that's
think, that's stopping it
that's
from
stopping it from
updating.
updating because the update will disable whatever it is that's on there. So yeah. But I mean, as you can see now, we're not getting blue screens instantly in Windows.
That's a good thing.
Oh, I mean, that's, you could be chasing your tail for freaking days on something like that. But yeah, luckily, luckily I realised what was going on before I gave it back to you. I mean, it doesn't even give you learn about that. It's just a link to their page. I mean,
Oh, fancy. Oh, fucking hell. Darren's going to Greece tomorrow.
hey.
Check out the place he's going to go to.
Oh, nice.
It's very fancy.
Very nice.
Some gross on it.
Greece would be awesome.
Let's go.
Hopefully not too many Malaccas this time of year.
I am.
Those bloody Malaccas. You can go have some moussaka, and what else? What else is Greek? I don't even know. Greek food. I'm sure, being Australian, whatever I think of as Greek food is probably not very Greek. I know moussaka, I know that. Found these people to connect with. Oh, I don't think so, guys. I do not want to connect with them. Maybe Brock does. Maybe Brock does. That's okay. Alright, so look, yeah. Like I said,
Oh, Jesus Christ, dog.
a fresh install of Windows and migrate over your user data. And then basically what that means
Need
is
to go.
you would have to reinstall
Do I have to take you to the toilet?
you'd have to reinstall stuff here. So if we went into
Yeah? Is that what this is?
all this software and apps and stuff would have to be reinstalled. All this stuff in your user account. So this is, you know, documents, your downloads folder. Where are we? I don't know what other folders you've used. But basically, yeah, we copy over everything that's here. What is all this? Luna Client. Luna Client? Can't say I'm familiar with that. Maybe that's got something to do with what we're seeing here with the, you know, it won't update. So yeah, look, I'll probably talk to Brock about this offline and see what he wants to do. But yeah, like I said, probably best just to do a fresh install of Windows on here. On just get a 1 terabyte drive, put it in. We can put in a new, you know, NVMe SSD in there, and yeah, pretty much go from there. Yeah, I mean, like, everything's Yeah, like I said, you're out of storage on your SSD. Okay. I hate it how they frickin' like tack this on at the end of the update tool for various manufacturers. See how there's a little bit of a delay there from when I clicked on Task Manager now, and see how it's like getting a bit slow and clunky? That's because of the SSD not being having, you know, more than 90% capacity used up. Almost becomes almost like running off a hard drive. Okay. And then yes, everything on the desktop here looks like it's probably on OneDrive. Okay, yeah, alright. Okay, so look, pretty simple from here on. Brock just has to decide what he wants to do. Like I said, if you can get a new SSD, you won't regret that. Do a fresh install of Windows onto it, and then you'll have Windows 11, and you won't have to worry about Windows 10 no longer being supported and all that kind of stuff. But if not, obviously, like you've already paid, so if you don't want to do anything else to it right now, I can just remove one of those bottom fans and I can slot this back in for you. That's no problem, and you can just pick it up. If not, if you want to put in some more storage, you want to do the 1 terabyte SSD, yeah, we can do that. We can do that as well. Or you can do it another time. You can do it in a few weeks or whatever. Whatever works for you, because I mean you're only local, so it's not too big a drama coming back here. So yeah, happy days. Let me just have a look. I can't see. Okay, alright. Yep, okay. All up to date on the comments. Brendan asks, hey Tim, have you done SSD swaps on Microsoft Surface Pros? Yeah, I can do that. That's no problems. Surface Pro is basically just a fancy laptop that kind of has an interface similar to like an iPad or something like that, but inside it's still a PC. So depending on the model, I don't want to say that yeah 100% you can do it with all of them, and then find out that some models have SSDs that are soldered to the board or anything like that. But in general, yeah, I mean, it should just be an NVMe SSD that's in there, so no big deal. Yeah, no big deal fundamentally. You should also be able to adjust the memory and stuff like that, provided that, like I said, it's not soldered to the board. But yeah, if you want to get that done, send me through the model number and I'll just have a quick look, make sure that it's definitely something that's easily serviceable, and then yeah, we can go from there. Brock says that's for Minecraft. Oh, I'm assuming that's what the folder that I didn't know, the Luna something. I'm pretty sure that was for Minecraft. And I believe they're not a standard size. Okay. Oh yeah. Yep. So it takes I'll show you. Okay. So it takes these NVMe SSDs. So if you're paying attention, you probably notice that the NVMe slots on motherboards have different holes that you can screw the fastening bolt, the offset that goes behind them. That bolt can fit into different positions. And this one here that we're looking at, this is the small size NVMe SSD. The interface is the same. The stick is just physically shorter. So we can definitely, that's the one that's in the Surface Pro 9 according to my preliminary searching there. And yes, those ones are completely normal. You just don't see them as much for ordinary PCs because you can just get the other ones. The smaller ones like that, because of like economies of scale and stuff, they are typically more expensive per terabyte or whatever measure you want. But yeah, totally doable.
Did you see the go ahead with the 1 terabyte?
Yes. Yep. Yep. We can go do that. I won't do it tonight. Getting late. I want to have some dinner and stuff. So, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it tomorrow, and then yeah, you'll be able to pick up on you'll be able to pick up on Saturday. Happy days. So I think that's good. Then with the upgrade there, you won't have to worry about Windows or your operating system or anything for a while, and then yeah, I guess the next thing to probably look at is putting in an updated graphics card to upgrade. Obviously, the thing is you can always sell your existing graphics card to sort of offset a bit of the cost of the new one. You could put in yeah, I mean you could put something in like a RTX 3050 or 3060 if you can still find one. That would be a pretty reasonable upgrade from RX 570, and that would be, you know, like graphics card around the $300 mark. But yeah, it's still pretty good.
So,
Yeah.
Ben says, yeah, cool, we'll see how I go with it, but I imagine 256 is going to be a problem for me.
Yeah. I mean, you can get 1 terabyte sticks like that, so it's totally doable. Yeah, if you want me to do it, just let me know. That's no problem. If you want to do it yourself, yep, completely fine. It'll just be, once you install the new one, you'll have to just do a fresh. The media creation tool to make yourself a Windows installation USB stick, and then it should be pretty straightforward. You shouldn't have to touch any settings or anything like that, because once you remove the drive that had Windows installed on it, once you have a blank drive in there and a Windows USB, the system will figure things out, if you know what I mean. It'll work out pretty quickly that there's no operating system, and the only thing we can do is boot. So yeah, fairly simple process. You just gotta open it up and all that. You just.
You might have gotten people mixed up.
What do you mean?
Because that's not Brendan.
No, I know.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Brendan's he's asking about the Surface Pro 9 and the SSD.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought you were getting confused.
No.
It was like you were talking about the same person for a second. Huh?
Just babe, this is the SSD that goes in the Surface Pro. It's one of those little shorties.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Happy days. So I think that's where we'll probably leave it for tonight. But yeah, tomorrow night we'll go and we'll put a new SSD on there, and yeah. Happy days. We'll get a an updated, fresh. Move it to Windows 11, and then yeah, just don't have to think about it then. Still a lot of people, like, you know, as I think it was Max that was talking about the operating system market share in Australia. So there's still quite a lot of people. I normally just install Windows 10 on new PC builds, and then I ask the customer, you know, later if they do they want 11 or they want to stay on 10, and then that just causes less dramas for me, because send them out and then people ask me how do I revert from Windows 11 to Windows 10, and then I've got to walk them through the process of that. So it's easier for me just to install 10, and then if they want 11,